Alright, so let's build the final routing component. What we're going to do is we're going to include the account, we're going to include the HTTP call, and we're going to have a home.js, okay? So which is the app.js. So the first one is going to be the app.js. There isn't much here. So this is going to actually render the menus, okay? So I'm not going to use a separate file. I'm going to use the app.js itself. So one of the first things that we need to do is we need to import. First of all, you need to copy this account.js which you created in the other project, okay, for creating accounts. So either you can create a new file or just copy it from there, copy the code from there. Similarly, you have to also create under this src folder the HTTP callout which we have created in the HTTP module. If you have not done those modules, you can complete those modules and come here. The account is for account creation, HTTP callout is for the HTTP callout from Reactjs. Both of these are completed. What you need to do is you need to include those JS files here and make a change. You need to change the account class app to account, because when you bring it from the forms, see the account there will have app. So when you copy it to account, you have to change this class to account and you have to export this account, okay? And similarly for HTTP callout, you have to change the HTTP callout and class name, and you have to change the HTTP call export default. So I'm going to navigate between these two applications, okay? So one of the first imports that we need to do is we need to go to index.js and import something called as we have seen, a module called browser router. Let's refer to the slide. Oh yeah, from the React routers. Okay, this is the API which we just installed. Okay, you will have to import browser. If it doesn't exist, you have to install it. Okay, you'll have to say npm install React router. So this will install the app. It will install the API. In my case, it's already installed, so I'm not going to do that. Okay. So, and then another thing is, we need to this app which we are rendering. If we want the menu to work, we need to see that it is in between this browser router tags. If you don't add the browser router tags or switch and other things which we are going to add, which we saw in the slide as a concept, won't work. Okay. So any menus that you want to work has to be, that component has to sit within this. Alright, so with this browser router change, now head on to the app.js. So here we need to, let's go back to this, let's start building the menu here. So if you see here, this is the one we are talking about. So let's take this. So what happens here is, first we say nav link. Nav link will navigate, pass a parameter when user clicks on that navigation link. They're like an href. Where does it go? To the root tag. Comparison happens of what is the value parameter that you have passed, and the corresponding component will be invoked. So let us call that. Let's copy this bit here to the component. So let's put it here. So the first one right now is home. That's fine. The second one I'm going to say account, and so here the only parameter is being passed. Okay. Create account, and I'm going to create one more navigation link. Now if you see that multiple components we are rendering, okay, we are not nesting any component, we are rendering it, components will be moving across. HTTP callout. We also need a nav, not mandatory. And here we need to say which one we want to navigate. So when it comes to slash, I wanted to come back to app, that is fine. When you say account, suppose it has passed this value account. Now this has to match this path and whatever nav link to, whatever the nav link to parameter you're passing, the route will move it to. So you got to move it to account. The next one, of course, HTTP callout. And one more thing, this need not be the component name. This can be something like HTTP1. Okay. I just need a matching tag here, HTTP1. But this should be the correct component name, whatever you gave it in curly braces. Okay, so now this component is rooted. So now let's see. So what have we done here? We have embedded this component within index.js using browser router. It's not // it's React router. Okay, so that's why that error was coming up. The browser router comes from a library called as React router DOM. Okay, so we need to include that. So what all of this, let's see if it is good to go. And now let's run this. Let's see, we are having an error here. Okay, so the tag is extra tag here. We don't need an app after this. So now we have embedded the browser router. Oh, one more mistake that we are doing here is, can somebody tell? Yes, we haven't imported those tags, right? So we have to import nav link. See, these are all dependencies. Without this, it will not work. Route. It has to be same case, huh? No lowercase, uppercase mismatch. Otherwise, you will not be able to find it. Switch. And this is again from React router. So it's a super important library. See that you have it in your so let's stop it and run it again. The reason I'm doing it directly in front of you and not showing you sometimes ready code, most of the times 90% of the time, is so that we can learn what's going wrong. Because these are the things that you will face in your real time. Basically, as we continue to build this, before we route it, let's first take a look at the nav link component. So we are given to account and HTTP callout, right? So let us just see that getting rendered here. So at the top we have home, create account, and now look at this. Now look at the URL here. When we say slash, this is what is the redirection parameter. Okay, slash account HTTP slash HTTP callout. So now we'll just link this up with the routes also. So the next thing is, we need to catch this parameters in the switch tag. So what we will do is we will come over here, and in the second part we are going to say, please don't forget that this whole component is sitting within browser router. Okay, from browser router we jumped here, we saw the nav links. Now we are going to say, like, I'm copying this page. So this part of the tag, there is a switch tag within which we have root. It accepts the parameter from nav link. If it is slash, it's going to redirect to app. If it's account, it's going to redirect to account. So let's see that in action. Okay, let's save all. And let's call this. Okay, it's taking some time here, so let's see this in the. So if you see here, we have home, create account, and HTTP caller. So this is created. So if I click on home, it should redirect me to the home component, but we are not clearing the component. Okay, just so. But if I go to create account, it's in the create account component. There is some currently some issue here. We'll just restart everything so that we restart everything once.